Sometime in the early 60s, I was working on a fine elderly gentleman in my dental chair. His name was Fred Squires. We talked about philosophy and religion. I was searching even then. In my youth, my mother had exposed me to Christian Science. I had been a Sunday school teacher, superintendent, Christian education chair, elder, and trustee of a large Presbyterian church. I had looked into reincarnation, Edgar Cayce, pyramids, and UFOs, but something was always missing, and I was ready for something new. At one point, I made the, quote, mistake of taking my hands out of Fred's mouth long enough for him to say, "Oh, I have a book that I think you might be interested in." He then told me a little bit about it. It sounded quite interesting, so I asked if I could borrow it. "No way," he replied, "but you can buy one at the bookstore." I was not in the habit of buying everything recommended to me in the office, but I guess my guardian angel, or midwayers, or my thought adjuster must have been needling me, because I made a trip to Vrooman's bookstore in Pasadena to buy one. At the time, of course, I had no idea that I had a guardian angel or thought adjuster, but something motivated me to pursue the issue. At the bookstore, when I asked for the Urantia book, Fred had written the name down for me, the sales girl said, "The what book? The what?" When I repeated the name, she said, "Okay, I'll look it up." She soon found that it could be ordered from the publisher in Chicago, but that it would cost $12.50. Feeling like a big spender and having made a special trip to the store, I told her to go ahead. In about 2 weeks, I received a phone call saying my book had arrived. "What book?" I asked. "The Urantia book you ordered," came the reply. Well, that was the start of a new adventure in the universe for me. Into the universe for me. After thumbing through the table of contents and scanning the list of authors with all of their weird names, I decided I had an enormous, expensive paperback of science fiction. I enjoyed science fiction, so I started with the geological development of our planet. It was fascinating, and within a couple of weeks, I was hooked on the Urantia book as fact and not fiction. Fred subsequently invited me to a study group at Helen Steen's home in Pasadena. Helen, Fred, and Fred's sister, Julia Fenderson, were all from Chicago and had been a part of the forum with Dr. Sadler. It was a fascinating study group whose members prepared charts for daily reading, summaries of the apostles, lists of Jesus's Earth family, and some beautiful color drawings of the universes by Georgia Geschch. After I had read enough to know what it was about, I bought several more first printing copies and gave them to my relatives. The results were predictable. One fundamentalist sister burned the book, calling it the work of the devil. One brother put it on the shelf of his library, and it was years before he blew the dust off of it. So I learned. Now, I just occasionally sow a few seeds in the hope that they will take root and grow. Since then, a couple of my siblings have graduated to the mansion worlds, and I'm sure they were surprised on arrival. Now, the blanks in my faith are filled in. The I's are dotted and the T's crossed. I have complete faith and trust in God as my Father and friend as I search to reach Him. He is personal and real to me now, rather than a man in the sky with a long beard waiting for me to make a mistake so that St. Peter can write it down in my book of life. Best of all, the book has given me a real concept of Jesus as Michael of Nebadon, my elder brother and creator. My life is now becoming fulfilled, and I am more at peace with the real world of the Spirit. What more can I ask for than to enjoy the journey?